Garage by donating a vehicle, volunteering your time, or by monetary donation. God's Garage is located at 2106 East Davis, Conroe. If you'd like to learn more about God's Garage, visit our website at godsgarage.org. Or you can contact us and we would be glad to come and make a presentation to your group.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio, a 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe, and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Cindy Cochran Show and watching the Cindy Cochran Show. You know, we are everywhere. We're on 105, 106.1, 104.5, and we're on Lone Stars, IR Lone Stars Facebook, and you're on my Facebook, Cindy Cochran Show Facebook. So we're live right now, and we won't be after this. Then you'll have to. We'll be in reruns. But if you guys have come to a show and this is the first time you've ever been to the show, this may be one that'll keep you coming back for more, because by popular demand, we have Dennis O'Connor with us. And of course, Deanie Boy is here. And you know, she always, when she appears, she's been on the show so many times over in the other studio, but she was on a while back, not too long ago. And everybody loves you. And then we have Yvonne, and she's with us today. I tried. So, Agrodowitz. I got. When I kept doing it. Ogrodowitz. That's Ogrodowitz. Oh no, that's not good. Ogrodowitz. I like it. What is that? What is it? Polish. See if I know that. Let's see. Ogrodowicz. Would they say Vitz?
When they put the C and Z together.
Vitz. What is the Polish to go? The V is the W. Ogrodowicz. Oh, that's
Ogrodowicz.
great.
She even has an accent. Listen to this.
I love this. Okay.
Do you need her to move closer to the microphone?
Well, I did a show called it was Abnormal in Houston, and we did the show.
It was
and it
called
was
Abnormal?
It was Dr. Abe Normal. It was
Abnormal.
And so I came out as a instructor from Transylvania, and I was for good blood circulation. And so I did this show with it, and there was like 6-7 writers for the show. And none of them were ever written for television, and I'd been in television for a while, so I knew what they couldn't do and could do and budget and all that stuff. And so it came down to where it was just me, Dr. Abe and me, and we wrote the show, and then I wrote him off the show, and it was just me. And so it became my show. It was, no, he just left because he got tired of doing the other stuff I would write.
People are leaving you on the air.
I know, it's terrible. No, but it was so that was the accent I had to have the whole time. I think I crossed borderlines, I'm sure, but it was but you have to talk that fast and with a real Texas accent. But anyway, I love to hear that. I love to hear that tongue. That's great. Okay, so Yvonne and Deanie are here for a specific reason, and Dennis, of course, if we can get him quelled to the one subject matter, I know it's my fault because he had
that runs a train down every track that comes up.
Well, when you were telling a story, and I thought it was another story you were telling me, and you kind of went over that first one about the little boy, and I didn't. I went, wait a minute. We didn't have time to go back and retell the story. But the little boy that they found, that your wife was
to the best of my knowledge, he's still out there.
Really?
The little boy. Other than the fact that when one night we were in the hot tub, a lot of snow on the ground, backyard, freezing cold, we run out and do a late night hot tub visit. And I was not expecting anything but romance. And it turns out, all of a sudden she turns around and she starts talking to somebody who is not there to my eyes. And that was this Jeliak Rainwater. And he was really, really mad because he'd been murdered. And Georgia had to talk him into going to the light while we were in the hot tub. So that was a very strange evening, and that was the end of that entire episode. As long as someone had gone to the light and love, and she had to talk him into it, basically.
So he wouldn't do something with the anger that he had.
Yeah, he would have been, I suppose, what one might consider an angry ghost or an angry.
She was helping him cross over into happiness.
Yes, she had. Yeah, she helped
That's
quite a few people cross over that came to her unbeknownst. Really, most of the people that she dealt with, she was a medium. By the way, she talked to dead people. That was her life's work. And so she spent most of the time just talking to dead people who had crossed over, family members of the people. To the most part, they were almost all family members. There were friends involved, animals involved, pets involved who had crossed over. But for the most part, her whole deal was to talk to these dead people of family members to get through the grief, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this Jeliak case was just something off the wall. I brought it up. I found out that this was a very famous murder case that had occurred in the area we moved to in New York, and I brought it to her attention. And so there was a whole relationship with trying to find out who killed him and where he was.
So that guy's still out there, the one that did the murder.
Yes, to the best of my knowledge.
Okay.
I have not followed all the stories out of New York, but yes.
Well, New York, there's another one for you, so they'll love that. But it was so interesting when Dennis started writing about this. He was writing in his Facebook about what his wife, as a clairvoyant and a medium, did. And so it was so interesting to me, and I went, you've got to come on and talk about this, because Dennis may exaggerate some things when he's talking to you, but usually you know it immediately when
I'm
he
5'10", by the way.
and so when he tells you something, it's usually brutally honest and the truth.
That's true.
And so I thought, I've got to listen to this, because here's what I think is the most interesting and fascinating. Now, a lot of people will go like, oh, that's your mind playing tricks on you and all that. They come up with a lot of reasons why none of this could be true. But it's interesting that God put in the Bible, he said this, that we need to be careful and be nice to everybody, love everybody, because you're going to be entertaining angels unaware. And so that verse just stuck with me, and I kept, why? Yes, that's right. So it's something that is comforting, but it's scary, and it's also like, what do I do with this verse? And who could I possibly have entertained lately that I wasn't very nice to? Because they would in the movies and stuff, they would talk about he says, well, I'm not going to do that. There's an angel there. I'm not touching an angel. You don't touch none, and you don't touch an angel. It's just not good practice. And so that was kind of a sentiment that would go through the movie or the Hollywood industry. but it was biblical in the sense that you don't know who that is. So I love that verse, and I think that it's really interesting because there's people I've met that I knew that when they talk and when they say things to you, you go like, I don't think you said that. I think something said that through you maybe, but you wouldn't have known to say that. It's like when I would go and speak, that I would start talking, and then after it was over, somebody would say, I love when you said that. And I said, what? And I wouldn't even remember saying something, and God's cool like that. I mean, you just never know what he's going to do. He's not a trickster, but he is somebody that does.
He has a sense of humor.
Yes, he
has
does.
a sense of humor, that's for sure.
That's why he created. We know that. But no, I think so. You have to be nice to everybody because you could be the angel in the room, Dennis, and that would surprise everybody. So that would be like, but we can't judge you. Because he'll judge us the way we judge others.
We don't want to burn bridges.
No, so you got to be nice to everybody. So, but I loved his stories, and you're gonna have to bring another story to us.
There's a lot of good in knowing that and bringing stories to people, parables to people. I think Jesus was a great example of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a note that one of the things that involves a subject of talking to dead people, and I have to express right out off the top again that love never dies and life never ends. The other side is all about love. If you tuned on here expecting to hear spooky stories, ain't happening. Not from me. Not from all my years with Georgia as she talked to the dead, and I recorded them, and I listened to them in detail, and then all of my experiences experimenting with her, because I'd test her. I'd test the data, because I couldn't believe this stuff either, hardly,
Yeah,
But there's one thing that all the stories about it express is fear and anger and spooky demons and the devil gonna send you to hell and all of these really awful things that they sell a heck of a lot of TV commercials, that's for sure. But Jesus pressed that a house divided against itself cannot stand. And I remembered that when so many people told me she's a witch, she's Satan's spawn, she's talking to demons. It says right, you name it, all these TV preachers, they line up with the ghost adventure people. But a house divided against itself cannot stand. That means if these messages aren't of love from the other side, then that's when you start looking for whatever you consider evil or devilish or whatever. But as long as their message is about love, and this was all about calming anger and grief in people's loved ones,
right.
And letting them know that they're okay, that it's fine. They're dead and it's fine. Whether they committed suicide, killed in an awful accident, it's just fine. And now, when I looked at that, because I studied the Bible a lot, I used to be an evangelist, if you can believe that. And I was, and so I understood Scripture and as much as I was able to. Mm-hmm. But if this is of the devil, then it's not going to end up in love. It's not going to end up in calmness and peacefulness among people, and that's just what I experienced when she talked to dead people.
Well, I think that you have a good point. I think that's especially when you hear so many people give the experience they had of having their loved one appear by their bed and say, don't worry, I'm okay. I'm doing fine.
And that's why these two ladies are here.
That's exactly right.
to
That was my
join me.
transition.
Yes, there you go. It's a good transition.
So Deanie, Deanie's daughter passed away. How long?
June.
In June, and you have continued to communicate with her, or does she communicate with you? How is it? Is it back and forth, or is it she?
Actually, she communicates with us. My husband, Jim, sees her and has seen her in the hallway, has come out of our bedroom in the morning and seen her sitting at the table eating her breakfast. She's even hugged him.
She did.
She's hugged him. And with
Oh, my word.
I'm not going to say what he was doing at the time, but he was. But with me, she talks to me. I hear her voice. Mm-hmm. And the first time that I recognized it was the day of her funeral, and walking into the house, the first thing she said was free. That's all she said, was free.
Oh,
so I took that at first and I kind of dissected it because I thought, what is she saying to me, free? And I took it as, okay, for her, she can see now, she can hear, no more pain, she's happy, she's up there with everyone that's having a great time.
Right.
And then for me, it is, I think, her telling me, you're free now to do what you want to do.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. That could be a very double meaning.
Because she was always,
Right. It felt like she was always depending on you for everything. But I think that's, and she knows, I mean, we all know that she knew that you that was what you wanted to do. It's what you're living for. That you wanted to do whatever you could do for her. But it's interesting to me whenever God's trying to describe to people through the Bible what heaven's going to be like and what it'll be like. And we all want to know, what are our loved ones doing right now? I just want to know right now what they're doing, because then I'll feel more at peace if you'll just let me know that.
Right.
But I think then when all of these sightings come and they see that loved one and they tell them that I'm okay, don't worry about me. And then you want to go on with your life, and it makes it easier. But when you have someone that is, like Tyler on TV, Tyler who goes and who talks.
Tyler Perry.
Not Tyler Perry.
No?
Tyler, he's a medium.
He's a medium.
Yeah, with Hollywood to the Stars.
To the Stars, and he goes in.
I thought his name was Perry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. There's a Tyler Perry, but
Well, yeah, right.
he's about huge. This guy is a very. He's so sweet. So you just love him. You want to believe everything he says because you just love him. But the messages that comes from him are, are good, and they're, and it helps the people, and the people go like, there's no way you could have known that, and we all think, no, they got to somebody,
right.
that, and that kind of thing. Because you don't want to believe that your loved one's not where you wanted to put him. You wanted to put him in heaven and living in a mansion, and that's where you want them to be. But I just feel like God would be putting us to work, and that we would be doing something. We'd be doing something to help someone.
I heard a lot
there.
of people talk about they had work in heaven.
Well,
Yeah, a lot of dead people reported that they work. They have work to do.
really?
Yeah. That I remember one in particular was some lady that worked with children all her life, and her job was to greet kids who had crossed over that didn't have a lot of people to greet them, because normally the story goes that it's your relatives, the people, your relatives, friends, loved ones, anyone who loved you, like the people that are standing around you right now, and you right now, and you right now, and me right now, Hattie, and those are the people that are going to greet you as soon as the minute you cross over, they're going to be there to say, hey, how you doing? Take it easy. We love you. You're in a safe place.
Yeah, I've even smelt her. I walked into the house one day, and as soon as I walked in the hallway, I could smell her. And so I walked away towards the kitchen, and I couldn't smell it anymore because I thought, no, that's not right. That can't be. So I went back, and I could smell her, and then it was gone. And so I knew then that was confirmation for me. And so I said, hey, what's up? What are you doing today? Are you still, reading your book? So I talked to her, just like Yvonne talks to her daughter. And my office backs up to her bathroom now. No one's been in her bathroom, or no one's used her restroom or her bedroom. She always had a habit of pulling her shower curtain down for whatever reason, but the shower curtain just fell in her bathroom, and I heard it, and I knew right away what it was. So I got up and I went into the bathroom, and I could smell her. And I said, okay, you took the curtain down again. Are you going to put it up? And then I couldn't smell her anymore.
Yeah.
So it's things like that gives me confirmation that she's still around, and it's really, I didn't get those confirmations at first, because Yvonne and I would talk about it, and she would say, have you heard anything or seen anything? And I said, no, but Jim has seen her. He saw her right off the bat whenever she passed. Yeah. And so I'm a huge believer in it now. Was skeptical prior.
Oh, your background, your career, and all that you've been through and stuff would be.
The things that she has seen with her daughter, and the videos that she has sent me confirms, just even double confirms everything. So yeah, I do believe our loved ones are around us, and I think they're our guardian angels.
And man, I think about how much work they put my mom and dad through. Like, you got to watch her, you got to stay with her, you don't let her go, and help her get through that traffic and that kind of stuff. And I think that in every society they'll build some something that they believe in, that they can see, hold on to, and they need that kind of tactical happening and experience to believe in, to believe it. And so the things, though, that you're talking about and that go on are only you would know that.
Exactly.
So it's hard to say to somebody, I smelled my daughter the other day, and it was so great because she did this and she did that, and they go like, what? You
right.
did what? And
exactly.
And so you start saying, I don't think I'm going to tell everybody about this, because only those that
will believe
because
you. People,
I really do believe that you had an experience, and whatever experience you had was real. That was real. So I believe you and what you've done, and that you have to cut through all the Hollywood stuff that has been put in our head about seeing somebody or talking to somebody, and people thinking that's crazy, And
I think the fact that I don't believe you mentioned it this time around, that Deanie spent 26 years as a Houston police officer, and one of the first women involved in it, and 17 years as undercover narcotics officer. We've got a lot of truthfulness here, and, having seen a lot of strange things go on in the world, for her to be telling this story,
right? That's what I'm saying. You've been through so much reality that anything like this has got to be a comfort. It's got to be a comfort to everybody, anybody that you talk to or tell. But a lot of people say, "Well, I'm just not going to believe that." But I think God, when you read what God says about heaven and gives a lot of details that we could possibly relate to and comfort us and that kind of thing. And when we saw how Jesus raised someone from the dead and brought him back because
Yes.
the sisters were so upset, and you're like, okay, I'm going to give you your brother back, because I don't want to see y'all cry. And to have that kind of power to do something like that. So I think that if you read, if you really read that the dimensionals that we may be in, or where God has us in, or whatever, and because we feel so small, because we say we look out and look at all the stars, and it's so big, and we're just so, people say, I feel so small, I feel so insignificant when I look at that. I went, that's the weirdest my reaction is, this is done for you so that you know that he's there all the time.
Yep.
And if you go out at night, you're going to see stars. And if you're in the morning,
right.
you're going to see sun. And you're going to have all this to comfort you. And to entertain you, I give you a different sunset and a different sunrise every single day.
Yeah.
Not one or two of them can compare, because this is for your pleasure. I do all this stuff for your pleasure. And so he doesn't want us to hurt, be afraid, or be...
I get excited actually when I see her, or I haven't seen her, but and I ask Jim all the time, "Did you see her today? Did you see her today?" And but when I smell her or hear her, I get excited about it, and I tell everybody. I don't care if they believe me or not.
Yvonne has some very
Good. Yeah, she's
Wait,
got-
we're
got some
getting ready to go to Yvonne, because Yvonne, you've been sitting here listening to them, and and you haven't left the room yet. So I'm real proud of you. And so I think, okay, I just wanted to give you a chance to hear how they interchange words and stories. And so it's your turn now. So Yvonne Rogodovich.
But let me back up about this.
She's going to set it up.
Yvonne and I had been apart for about 6 or 7 years, and within that time, her daughter had passed. And when her and I reconnected, that my daughter passed right after that. So I think that there was a reason that God put us back
together again.
As friends again. And I mean, it was like we'd never even been a day apart.
That's good friends.
When she came back into my life, it was like, and she had lost her daughter, and then I lost mine. It was like, whoa, this is we need each other.
That's exactly
for sure.
right. Yeah,
So,
I love that.
Anyway, but
okay, Vaughn. You want to set it up, like when did your daughter?
She told me over at the restaurant she's shy.
I just
but
don't talk publicly.
Well, pull the mic a little closer to you. Yeah.
Well, I've had several experiences, and
Good.
they go back well beyond Whitney passing away. I would have to say my father. So every close person that I've lost, I've had an experience. And but with Whitney, some amazing things have happened. Just recently, I was telling Deanie it's happened Saturday night.
Can you get? I want to make sure everybody hears it. Yeah, if you could.
Well, I'm not sure everybody wants to, because I
hold
feel
on
like
to this?
the world is pretty skeptical unless somebody's experienced the same thing, then they understand. But
I think
a lot
we're
of people
also
are not
teaching
open
them
to it.
too. Is
Right.
yeah.
But
Well, I
Yvonne,
think that's part
there's
of it, being open to
they're
it.
very hungry. They're very hungry, and they want to believe something like this because they're afraid to believe something like this. And so if they feel like what's happened to your daughter, and when your daughter talks to you, and the freedom that she's feeling, and the goodness that she's feeling, all the goodness that he's her, that makes them feel better about, okay, my people may be okay.
Well, there were signs immediately after she passed away. My daughter believed in feathers being a sign, and immediately there were feathers in my car, in a closed car the next morning, which was a big sign.
Oh, yes.
But other things people would find hard to believe. But I have video documentation of a couple of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was just showing Dennis pictures of my security camera, after she died on 3 different occasions it happened, but it hasn't happened since. So it's not a malfunction of my camera, but there was this strange phenomenon during the day that the camera, and her favorite color was purple, the camera turned the world purple, but not everything purple. The sky is blue, the clouds are white, the shed is tan, but the trees are beautiful purple and the ground is beautiful purple. And
It's incredible.
that's documented, and it wasn't during the infrared changeover night day. It was in the middle of the day. It was very odd. Not only that, objects, you know, I could be thinking about her. There was a time that I grieved pretty heavily, and
Yeah.
it was like she was telling me to stop it, and she would get my attention by like defying gravity, like the silverware and the drain would change directions all of a sudden in front of my eyes. It would just move, or an apple that was sitting upright on the counter would tip over. Just strange things like that would get my attention. And
So were you elated, like when something like that would happen? Would you feel like,
I
she's
was
here?
like, I knew that she was still with me and trying to communicate.
Yeah.
But on Saturday night, wasn't expecting anything. Came in late from work. Was having dinner. Tried to change channels, and all of a sudden, the TV's completely, I couldn't even turn it off. It just froze. And then my dog, who was right beside me, just sitting, lying on the ground, he looked up off of the ground and he started licking something like somebody was in front of his face and he was saying hello. And I said, "Oh, Whitney, you're here, aren't you?" And then I felt this amazing energy in the room, which caused me to just tell her I missed her and loved her, and I felt love.
Yeah.
It was just
Oh,
gripping
that's
love,
awesome.
and it lasted maybe 5 minutes or so, and then all of a sudden, the last thing that happened was almost like a sensation of something on my ear, a kiss or a word or something.
Right.
Just change of, I don't know, pressure or something. It was weird. The energy left, the TV started working, and I went about my business.
Hondo
Like,
went
thank
back
you.
to sleep.
Hondo went back to sleep. But he
Right.
does sense whoever is around me, my family, my sister Rose, who I lost. I know he sees this invisible world sometimes, and it's kind of
The
disturbing to me
energy, yeah.
sometimes because he's darting around the room. Sometimes he's even left the room because of sensing these spirits.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
In the short
Anyway.
time I've known Yvonne, she qualifies, as far as I'm concerned, as a sensitive.
Yeah, she's very.
You know,
I
because
think
she's
sensitive.
had so many different means of communication with the other side, and I mean, I was really deep in the heart of it, and I have never had anything basically on my own. I've seen things move, but as far as communicating, I'm really mad at Addie that hasn't communicated with me. But I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Oh,
but
that's
I need to tell you that I don't have a problem at all believing the stories you're telling. I'm sure.
Well, she also has
Yeah.
lights that she owned, which are now in my house, just decorative, beautiful lights. And I have a memorial table with the lights on it, and I have been in front of it, and the lights just spontaneously come on.
They come
like,
on?
Hello. Are you here?
She sent me a video when that camera went off one night, and on the video you could see the energy and you could see the eyes. You could see eyes, and the glow of eyes and the energy, and I watched that video several times because I was mesmerized. Went to look at it the next day. that is no longer on the video.
It just disappeared.
It disappeared. It's not on the video at
Nice to
all.
see it.
It's just
But
straight
you got
video.
to see that. You got.
But I do
But-
have another video of a similar situation. It's a distortion in the room. It's cloudy. Everything is, this cloud is moving through the room. But it was also started by her memorial table, which that light, motion censored light, I've had to turn over because it goes off.
When she's
often,
moving,
the
yeah.
energy, I guess, triggers these lights. And I finally had to unplug it because I told her, not in the middle of the night. And I don't
Let me sleep.
I'm not really cool with that.
I don't know what time y'all are on, but we're not on that time.
Yeah. What time does God have y'all go to bed?
A lot of little things happen like that, it's not just the visual part of it, it's just what I feel
Yes, the feel. Yeah.
when it happens, that energy that is in the room.
Right. And that's what it's interesting. And people, I know scientists and try to study this and come up with a practical, logical reason for it. But the energy that we all have, when that person comes into the room, you kind of immediately say, boy, that person's happy, or that person's upset. Something's wrong with that person. You feel that, and so that feeling is true because it's what that whatever aura or whatever they have around them, or the energy they bring in or out. And like some people can come in and just suck the whole energy out of the room, and you go like, oh dear. And I've interviewed so many different people, and some people I'm going to have to go in and pull it out of them. That's right, because they're not going to give me anything I want.
Am I a bright ray of sunshine?
You're not looking now, are you? Of course you are. Of course you are, sweetheart.
That's a good example. But if you think about it too, when you go into a hospital to visit someone, okay, and then you leave, a lot of times I feel exhausted because people are drawing from that your energy.
Yes, they
and
are.
And really, literally, it's sucked almost right out of you. Mm-hmm. If you think about that, next time you go in the hospital, think about how you feel, and when you come back out, what it's like.
Mm-hmm. No, I certainly agree. Do that with children as well.
Yeah.
And they can take it out of you, and you're like, somebody, I need to be replenished. But there was an episode at Channel 13 when I was working there. The secretary of the boss, her daughter died of leukemia, and she was in the hospital for a long time. And I saw her when she came back to work, and I was telling her, I'm so sorry. That must have been horrible. She says, no, it wasn't. Wait, let me tell you. Right before she passed, the nurses came and told me that she didn't have long, so you want to come in and just be there with her. And it was so emotional. And I was sitting there, and her eyes are closed. I'm holding on to her hand. And all of a sudden, she opens her eyes, and she goes, Grandma, hi, Grandma, hi. And then she started naming different relatives that we know that have passed on. And she is so happy and so excited. And then she closed her eyes back down, and that was it. And I went, what? Could you say that one more time and slower? Because that was just amazing. And she said, I couldn't believe it. And Don Nelson, who was on Channel 13 for so long, we were good friends with them, and his dad was in the hospital, and he was going to pass. And so he had gone in there, and he just wanted to, he just kept feeling him, and tell me when this is happening. And they said, what do you mean? He says, when is he going? And he says, it's like he starts feeling him, and he said, I can feel the energy going out of him, and I can feel, and I'm just, it's warmer here, it's cold here, and it's warmer here. And so this is going out of him, and I go to his head, and this just like explosion of energy, just so, and his head was so hot. And all of a sudden, this left him, and he was gone. And that's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know if it really was not him anymore. And he said, and that was when I felt like, okay, that's, I can deal with this, because I know that he has gone on, and he's not in that body. I'm not burying him. I'm not, and that kind of thing. And so it was really helpful and comforting for him. But I know that when it happened to that lady, she said, I could have never let her go if I didn't think somebody was going to be taking care of her. And when she started seeing all the relatives, and like, I know she was happy, and she's okay. she's fine. And so it was good. And so I think that it's like Dennis said, as long as someone is doing this and helping people in a medium that sits and talks to them and feels what their loved ones are feeling, and as long as that is good, comforting things, and that these people can resolve things that they couldn't get rid of because they were gone and they had no more time to talk to them and all, and that goes away, that's great. I mean, I think that would put a smile on God's face, that someone's using that energy or that, telepathic, whatever that they have. And but I just don't want to know a lot of my relatives around watching me all the time, though.
I'm sorry.
I got a problem with that.
They know what you're thinking.
No.
You didn't want to hear that, but that was my experience in a lot of the readings that I went through. With Georgia, is they know what you're thinking. They're that close to you. And that's okay.
I love you all. I love everybody. And I'm sorry that I said the things I said. But I think that's
you can imagine
a good
how bad
reason.
I feel living the life I've lived. That these people have been listening to all this stuff in my head all this time. Whoa.
I know. My relatives had to move over here on this side to me, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But I think God wants us to use our imagination, because I think imagination is just I love thinking about it, studying about it, and all that, and what you do to what all societies have done to try and bring peace to themselves. They decide, this God, we're gonna we'll worship this God, and the tree is our God, and the tree and all that. But I think that God has said, if you don't talk about me and you don't worship me, that's okay. I'll have the rocks and I'll have the dirt, and all of them will rise up and they'll talk about me, and the trees will applaud me. So
Amen.
that's fine. So if you guys don't want to do that, and I was like, oh yes, that I don't want those rocks talking for me, and and he probably would hurt his feelings if I didn't do that. But I think that it is great that that this kind of conversation can go on, because I think it's helpful for a lot of people that are in, when you're grieving, and you are, and it's horrible.
Oh boy.
And Dennis, all of us know that, and it's just.
Hey, I got something here.
A sunshine shirt?
No, it's a T-shirt
Appaloosa.
that I don't know where the camera is. Camera going to catch that? Yeah. It says Adam Palooza.
Palooza.
This happened 6 years ago. It's got all the pictures as Addie, and all these pictures are of Addie.
Tell them who Addie is.
Addie is my son who died. Anniversary of his death is as we're sitting here. He was in the hospital. He had left, so this is 6 years that he died. He was in a wheelchair, could not speak except with a computerized device, and anyway.
But he spoke volumes.
He spoke with his smile.
Smile, with his energy that he had all around him. When you were around him, you were happier, and so he did.
But anyway, that this Adam Palooza shirt was a celebration of life that we did right around the corner here at Ross's place. Jay Ross's, I can't remember
Was
the
it
name. It used to be Martin's. Yeah, we did that. And Deanie made this T-shirt for
I
me.
did.
You did? Oh, I was
She
going to say, it looks
created
like a
she
really
did
happy
everything.
sunshine
Yeah,
shirt.
Yeah,
so.
we had so much fun at this party. So you know, the
We even had
celebration of
wheelchair games, remember?
life. We had wheelchair races, yeah. Because he lived his whole life in a wheelchair. But the celebration of life and the celebration
It's
of
everything.
is and knowing that somehow stems the grief. We even the same day we sprinkled his ashes on top of the Crichton Theater because he was involved in theater with Deanie and I
Right.
on the stage over there for 20 years, 22 years I think.
You know, that was great
that's,
for him.
Just the thought of the grief and how it can be assayed in some way, although it's deep and deep. And I mean, I got it at his picture in my kitchen 6 years to the day now that he left us, and I still break out in tears.
Oh, well, of course. Yeah,
I
that
miss
is true.
him. I'm glad he's where he is, and that's why your story about free, you know, when she says free because Amber was blind,
Right.
and had other physical problems, and she was really fighting it. So you know that means an awful lot.
Well, I think that when God was describing in heaven, there'd be no tears, and all the things that are not going to happen, and the one thing that keep you from ever feeling pain. There's going to be no marriages, no. There don't have to be. There'll be no giving in marriage or whatever. So, but where he had me was, he said, and everyone will have a glorious body. And I went, okay, you had me there. I didn't listen to the rest of that sermon. That was a glorious body.
You want me to tell you about any of the readings I heard about sex in heaven?
No. Shut your mouth. Don't say that.
Why? There's nothing wrong with that. As it turns out, I was surprised myself when all of a sudden that I'm listening to some lady talk about sex in heaven.
Okay, well,
A dead person.
You know, whatever happens in heaven, we'll stay in heaven. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. We're going to keep it at that.
I
Oh, my
don't see
word.
anything wrong. It depends on what you love. Like a dog's in heaven. Monsignor Dave Kennedy over here at Sacred Heart Catholic Church, I got to know him really well because I worked for them. It came up, are there dogs in heaven? And he says, do you love your dog? He says, yeah, I love him, unbelievably love. Then how could that dog not be in heaven? And it's like, oh, I get it.
I can remember.
It's complete love. It's total love. It's
Right.
whatever you love. You know, and I don't think that rules out sex. I'm sorry.
I don't know how we got from the dogs to the sex, but I think that the animals, but since that's what he created, and had Adam, you know, name them, not Adam name them, but I think that it's got to be important to him. And so, why not? I don't know.
Sure, it
Why
has
not?
to do with joy and love.
Or we'll see what that. Oh, this would be horrible. We'll see what that dog is. Maybe doesn't have the dog features, but he's now the spirit of the dog, and is letting you know what he thought about you and how you treated him. And
He's going to
finally
meet you at the
can-
gates
Yes,
right
that's
there.
right.
If you see his teeth, you better go ahead and turn around.
That's and see, and we won't be allergic to dogs anymore, and cats and things like that. I'm sure, probably. But just imagine if you go out and you look at the most beautiful scenery and the most beautiful things that God has created, and think, now He's trying to tell us this is so much better than what you see here. How beautiful this all is. So just think about what that would be like. So
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. It's just beyond
It's
beyond
beyond,
imagining.
I think he tried to give us something as close as he could to say the streets are paved in gold, and this and that's, you feel like, okay, yeah, I'd like about that much of the room of that on that street, and I think we don't need money though. We're not going to need money, and you can eat all you want, and you won't get fat.
Well, that was a big point of the fact of talking to the dead, because a lot of people would ask, well, if they're that happy, if they're that heavenly, you know, what the hell are they doing Am I supposed to say hell? What the
Yeah,
heck are they
no way.
doing coming and talking to us? Why are they bothering with us? And it came to me one day. I was sitting on my a hammock, and I'm watching my kids. I'm watching Adam, and I'm watching my firstborn Jonah, and they're playing there. And it hit me. That's what these dead people are doing. They love us. They love us
So much, yeah.
unbelievably.
Right.
So they would. I was sitting there thinking, "Oh shucks!" I almost said, "Oh shucks! This is heaven. This is heaven." I'm sitting here watching my kids. There's no place I'd rather be. There's nothing I'd rather do in the entire universe than to sit here and just watch them play. And that's when it went, aha. I could understand some of what this Georgia Talking to Dead People was all about, you know.
You guys know we've talked 52 minutes. 52
Yvonne
minutes. It's
didn't
just
get a
kind of
talking
just like gone, no time. That's what's good too, is there'll be no time and no time limits in heaven or anything like that. And I won't be on
That's
Central
right.
Time or Eastern Time or Western Time. It'll be their time. And the main thing is that we stay happy and make other people happy and do the best we can, and that's what they would want. I'm sure they're going to no, don't go back to bed. Go into church. Or don't do that. Don't be mean to your kids. Don't talk like that to your kids. Okay. But I think I've loved this conversation, and thank you. Thank you so much, Yvonne. I know it's not easy when you're speaking to at least 34 people.
Broke the ice, and next time I'll speak more.
No, but the thousands of people that are listening to us all across the globe. Yeah. And so many people make fun of our audience level. Our audience they're loyal, they love us, and they don't know what to do with us, and they don't know why we're really here, but it's good for them to have some place to go, what is she talking about today? Oh my word, Cindy. But now, tomorrow, we're going to have the ladies from Conroe Church of Christ are going to come in. They're going to talk about the women's ministry and all. And it's so funny because
I was telling Yvonne, you're into women now.
shut. Oh my word.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I was trying to. She says, "Well, what's the show about?" And I said, "Well, she's into women now."
I
I
want
didn't mean it
to
that
make-
way.
I want to make sure that women are taken care of in the ministries and
Good
all
for
the Bible thing and studying, and they have all that. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put a spotlight on that. But listen, you guys, thank you, Deanie. Thank
Thank
you,
you for having us.
Dennis.
You're
always there.
quite welcome. Always a pleasure.
And listen, first responders, we love you. We love you so much. And what's great is God loves you even more. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Everybody go out, call somebody you love, or look them up or say hi.
Yeah.
And thank you, Richard, so much for just being here and helping us get on
Thanks,
the air.
Dick.
Okay, see ya. Love you. Bye.